right, we're using useState, so from Flet, and the component, the way it does it is it has this special technology here called use_state, and we used it right here, ft.useState. So it returns the variable and it returns the setter, or the method or the function to set the contents of this character variable. So it's, it's a little bit more complex if you're not used to it, although this is pretty common in different types of development. The most critical thing is you can store the data across Rerenders, and the UI is automatically updated when the data changes. So we're not using page.update or some type of imperative direction to the UI, say, hey, let's update it. The UI is monitoring the state. When the state changes for that particular piece of the UI, will update it automatically. The key thing is when you change one portion, so let's say we're changing the value that's stored in the drop-down menu. We want this character to update. You could update the screen in different ways. The method that you're probably most familiar with is when you do the drop-down menu, you just simply tell the page to update. But we're updating the state, and then the state will update the character. It's quite easy to set up. There's a value and there's a set value, and then this is special to Flet, ft.useState. You set the initial value, which can be null, and so we have it set up character and then set character. The initial state in ours is mat, and the character right there, it holds the character object. So this is the optional Python type hint to be clear that this character refers to the character class, not a string. And then the set character updates the character. When you use set character and you pass it a new character, so this is the dictionary, right? So this is the key for the dictionary, which we're getting from the drop-down menu. It's going to return an object, and that object is now set to the character. This will cause the page or the screen to update. So when you trigger this, it changes the state, and the application is watching for change of the state. When the state changes, it updates the relevant component. So in this situation, the state is always held in the state of the application. You could re-render or run the function multiple times, and it's going to hold the state in the application with this useState technique. So we set up the value of the state. So the variable is character, right? So you can access the image here, character.image path. When the character changes, the image will update. The key thing is that the state is triggering the re-render of the screen. When you make the drop down on selection, it's going to run handle selection. This handle selection will set the character, which causes the components to re-render on the screen. As mentioned previously, this Flet useState is almost identical to the React useState with this type of convention here, and Flet, it's almost identical. So if you learn it on Flet, if you do try to use React in the future, or you're already familiar with it, the concept should be very similar. If you don't use something like useState, or you are handling the interactions on the client side, you may have to make multiple requests back to the backend. So for example, in Fast API, changes to the UI would require an HTTP request. So most of the UIs you work with will have some form of state management within the client side. The Flet state management is synchronous and it's local. If we're using Fast API on the back end, it's going to be asynchronous and it's remote. In the next video, we'll cover a snack bar and delve further into state management. So we'll pop up in something here to give some additional details on the character's journey.